I think really our karma as human beings, and primarily as like Western industrial human beings, is much more retrofitting than getting to start with raw land and build cob straw bale mansions. I think we're going to have to be turning double wide mobile homes into passive solar, with energy efficient retrofits. So I think that coming up with those kind of approaches is going to be really beneficial, because it's just, we don't have the resources for everybody to just go like create more metal and create more the raw materials for everybody. I remember reading something about if everybody in China had the same kind of things as the U.S., it would be like more steel than exists on the planet right now for everybody to have a refrigerator and 2 cars and all that. So we have, I think that's a key part of the whole permaculture movement, is this idea of voluntary simplicity. And it kind of runs counter to some of the notions of prosperity consciousness of like you can manifest whatever you want. Well, on a certain level, you have to manifest being able to live within not only your own means, but within the means of the ecosystem. We're trying to figure out systems that self-manage. Raspberries, all the berries are pioneer plant. They help establish the site and attract in birds that will deposit nutrient-rich manure that eventually it'll evolve towards higher orders of complexity. And you can see over there that oak tree that just showed up. So it's like, in permaculture, it's a design system where we're using observation of all of our senses and to make assessments that ultimately inform the design. So when we see oak trees showing up, other diverse medicinal herbs and things like that, it's like, well, do we want to constantly fight that system with mowing and pruning and like control, or like let it evolve? And I'm seeing too, like nobody's really done the organic apple thing here. I have a few hundred apple trees, but I see the potential for much more. And it's a good crop because it's, it stores somewhat. It's most of the people that are starting new vegetable farms are just solely focused on vegetables, and it's very competitive in that world. But fruit, it just gets easier and easier. Like growing corn, it's the same amount of energy in for the same yield always. Trees and perennials, it's like big energy in, but then the amount of energy in diminishes with the productivity. So a lot of that, it's, you got to like, there's all these, the pattern understanding of like how, as we get older, we're probably not going to want to work as hard. And our young people, do we want to just expect them to have to do all that work, or do we want to use our intelligence to create a situation where, it's less work to manage a system that becomes increasingly productive, and then there's more time for the culture and art. And that's why we look at indigenous cultures and how they had to work 4 or 5 hours a day and they had all this time for culture. And I think, the Western model clearly is not serving the human soul. So we need to evolve that concept.